Okay, here we are the next late morning, and I had cut string grooves. I had put 45s, used a rat tail file, used a chainsaw file to cut the grooves, and I made a tillering string that's longer. I like to have my strings short but longer, you know, in other words, no brace, but just a couple of fingers in between the riser. Okay, so what we're going to do is, this is very heavy. I put it on that pull down stick and it's really strong. So I'm going to remove some material, a few strokes on each side, even it out on the belt sander. And then we're going to get it to flex, and I'll show you the tillering process once I get it to flex a little more. Remove several strokes, you know, a good 15, 20 strokes. You know, the pad's a little worn. It ain't like it's a really abrasive pad anymore. But 15, 20 strokes on each side. Okay, and I want to show you the sandings. Look at the sawdust. It's like toasted almond from the fire hardening. Okay, that's what you want to see. All right, instead of white fluffy, it's toasted almond. Today's one of those days where it was raining this morning, and it's supposed to clear up. Should have been cleared up by now, but we still have a few drops coming down. So I just covered up the belt sander, and I'm going to talk to you about what I did so far. I measured, this is roughly, this riser handle here is going to be a short riser handle. Okay, from the fade out to the fade out, it's 7 inches. Okay, it's 7 inches. And what I did was, where I marked where these fade outs are. Let me show you this here. Hopefully you can see. I marked where these fade outs are. You know, you have to have like a starting point for tillering. I like it to be pretty even. And we got the 5/8 to where I drew that line, 5/8. And then over here it's 5/8 too. I've had to take a little material down just to even them up, so I have a nice even starting point. And then with the recurve, not sure where it's going to flex, okay? But what I did was I went down and just picked the point where I thought it was going to start bending, and that was 19. And I drew a line over here, 19, and I drew a line over here, 19, so I have something even to tiller it when I flex it, you know? So when I flex it, I also put a center point. Okay, in between the 19, put a center point. Okay, and when I flex it and I put this up like this here, right, I actually have an idea of where I have to take off material. You know, is it perfect? Is it exactly where it's going to bend? No, but do I have a reference point now for me to micro tiller and put a straight edge on and see where it's bending and where it's not, to make each limb the same? Yes. Okay, so that's what I wanted to do, give you a little update while it was misty out. I marked the limbs on this recurve so I can start micro tillering and have an idea where I got to take material off. I'm not just guessing. All right, because I really want this to work, so I'm going to take my time and take a little bit and try to make mirror images and get them to bend correctly. Okay, so as soon as it stops, which like it stopped now, maybe I'll go out and do a little more. Okay, so I put the straight edge up. I took a little material off. It's very, very heavy, this weighted as well. A lot of material has to come off. So we're just checking right now the tillering. We won't even look at the numbers. We're going to put it against the line, and we're going to look at the bend. Right. Let's see if we can get this here. Okay, it still needs to bend a little bit more on the outside, but it wasn't bending at all, and I got it to bend a little. I removed some material. I got to remove just a little bit more material here. Okay, let's check out the other limb. Once again, we're not even showing the numbers here. We're looking at the straight edge. Okay, we got a nice bend going here, and again, there's really nothing on the end here. Okay, and once I get those ends taken down, I'm going to do like 10-15 strokes on each side because that's how heavy this bow is. Okay, once again, whenever you take down material, round the edges. You want nice round edges. You don't want any grain lift, okay? So what I did was I took off where it needed to bend a few strokes, right? You know, like I worked these outer edges a little bit. And then I went evenly across. This is very heavy. And I went back and forth, okay? And the belt I have on here is worn. It's not really that aggressive anymore. So I took off 15 strokes, okay? So I gotta work around in these edges nice. And we're gonna go back to flexing. Okay, so since this is even from the center point, both limbs, I like to call one the top and just keep it on the right. And that one has a little thinner tip, tip up here, and that's going to be the top. And now that I got it, it bends a little bit. What I'm going to do is just flex this a little bit here. You see I'm flexing a little bit, starting to flex. And then we're going to put the straight edge on and see what it looks like. So, let's check it out. Okay, it's flexing. It looks like it needs a little more on the outer edge here a little bit. Okay. Let's check this again. Okay, this one actually came a long way. It's looking a lot better. And I don't really worry about the gaps too much. We like to see how far it is. So to me that looks just a hair more than 1/4 of an inch. And this gap over here looks about the same, okay, about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit off the ends, and it's still really heavy. Once I take a little bit off the ends, we're going to take a few more strokes, maybe 5 more strokes off of this, and then we're going to round the edges, flex it, and see what we got. Okay, just a couple of things. When you put this on, when you put your bow on one of these sticks, make sure that the string grooves, make sure first of all when you make the string grooves, it's deep enough that this goes and they sit in nice and they're level. And then when you put it on like a stick like this, make sure that the grooves are in and the string's centered. Okay. Now every time I take a little material off and I go to put the string down a notch, I try to flex a little bit. And it was so stiff I really couldn't flex it that much, but now I'm able to flex it just a little bit and hook it up. The other thing is I'm making a recurve. I don't want these ends to be weak, okay? I don't want these to be weak and have a whip tiller. So I'd rather these ends be stiff. So that's why I'm going by this line for now. And I could tiller it later on when I get it to flex, but I'm keeping it short for where I have it. Okay? So this is a 64-inch bow. And from where the fade out is, I'm coming out like 19.5 inches, okay? And I'm trying to get it to bend pretty even for that 19.5 inches. And when I put it on that tillering pulley over there, okay, when I believe I have enough weight reduced, because it's very heavy now, at that point I'll determine, you know, where I got to take down weight. Now if you look at this one here, over here, okay, this definitely needs to have a little material taken off here. Okay, so I'm going to take a little material off this side and we're going to work it. Now this tillering part, if you see me do it before and you want to fast forward, you can, you know, but it's a recurve. And this is only like the 3rd recurve I'm making so far. Actually 4th with the maple board bow I did. So you could follow along with me to see if I do it correctly or I don't do it correctly, all right? But the layout is just a starting point, okay? Just a starting point, a reference point, so I don't go too crazy with taking off more material than where I should, especially because I don't want to ruin the recurve. I really want to make this a successful bow. Okay, I already took some off, but just to show you, I'm off the pencil from here to here. Right here in the middle, I do this a little bit. Yeah, start in the middle, because I want to take a little in the middle so it flexes, and then go extend it out, and then I go flat a couple times, and now I'm going to sand it. Once again, that belt that's on there is not an aggressive belt. It's a worn, older belt, and I leave that there for this tillering purpose, so I don't take off too much material, all right? But it's better, I'm old, it's better than hand sanding. But what I still am going to do is I round these edges. And I round noisy vehicles. And I round these edges, okay, the best I could, even right out to the end of the recurves, okay? Now we're going to put it on that tillering tree. I have this flexed from the top of the riser, okay, from the back of the bow, roughly 9 inches, okay? 9 inches, and it's still, you can feel it's a stout weight. But when I look at this here, okay, I got it flexing good. I went down, like I said, a little further this time. And look, all right, it looks a little thicker here. And then let's look over here. All right, it's a little thicker there. We're going to take a little bit off here, and then we're going to put it over there in that toy tree. But this has to come down a little bit more, so we're going to take some off from the middle here to get it to flex a little more. Okay? Okay, this is redundant and boring, but what I did was I want to show you it's important. If you're going to do this, you don't want to break it, right? And it could break anyway. I mean, that's what happens sometimes. But look, unscientifically, I could put my thumb in there up to the knuckle. Put my thumb in there up to the knuckle. Okay, so now we're going to put it over here. All right, and then we're going to see how many pounds, you know, as I pull it down a little. We don't want to go over 50 pounds, okay? So that's what's nice about this is I get to exercise the limbs a little bit. I don't have to go crazy. Make sure that the string grooves are in good. It's 40 pounds at a couple of inches. Do you see that? That's 6, 7, 8. All right, it's 45 pounds. So what we're gonna do is just exercise these limbs a little, and then I'm gonna take off quite a bit of material and then get back to it. 45. So we're going down to like 8 inches. Okay, so 8 inches is 10-inch brace height. So we got 50 pounds at about 10 inches. Okay, just so you know, when you're picking up a lot of material and you're going back and forth, it don't hurt to throw it back up on here and go down a little bit, like the 10 inches or whatever, and just check out the bend. Go right to the end here, lay this on the bottom of the curve, go right up to where the fade out is, and it don't hurt to check out the curve. And now what we're doing is checking out the gap, okay? This finger could go just about in there, right? So here we are. We're checking it out. This finger could go in there with maybe a little bit more of the space, all right? But what we're going to do is just flex it and go down. It's fairly close. Once again, you're taking off a lot of weight. You got to go. It don't hurt to give it a check. All right. Okay, so we took down a lot of material. I put it back on a tillering stick so I could check out the curve with a straight edge. And that bottom limb had less of a gap. I had to keep taking off material, sanding it, flexing it, and every time you take off material, you have to round the edges. So now let's see what we got here when we pull it down. Before we had like 55 pounds or so at 9 inches or whatever it was. Let's see what we got now. Okay, we got 50 at 10, 52 at 11. So what I'm going to do is just exercise this a little, and we're going to continue to remove some weight. And so here we go again, exercising the limbs. $51 at 14. Okay, quick check with the straight edge. I had to take a little bit more material off the bottom to get it bending a little bit. And we're going back to the pulley board. Okay, we got 16. It's 52 pounds at 16 inches now. So it's working, taking off a little weight. Just going to exercise it and then take off a little more. Okay, I like keeping my tillering string pretty snug. Twisted it up a little bit. Now let's see what we got here. We're going to exercise the limbs a little. $48 at 15. 16 rather. 48, 50 at 17. For the video, this is 51 at 20. Going to remove some more weight, and then we're going to put a string on it. So shorten this one. Had disc damage and nerve damage, and it's a little tough sometimes for me to string these soft bows, or any bow for that matter. Gotta make sure we hold it tight, and then we gotta check it good. Use a bowstringer. Make sure it's in the grooves. Okay, and it is in the grooves. Okay. Okay, we got to make this groove a little deeper here. Okay, I can't stress enough to make sure, especially after you're using a rat tail, use that chainsaw file to make sure that the grooves where the string go are deep enough. Make sure they're in good. Okay, and then let it down slowly so in case it blows apart, you don't throw the bow. Yeah, they're in good. And the reason I added this was, you know, piece here of me dropping the bow was because it was fine with the tillering string. But when you put it under stress to have the brace height, okay, that's when, you know, everything counts. You know, you put it under a lot of pressure, you want to make sure the grooves are deep enough. Deep enough and even, okay? Okay, this is why I shoot for a 5-pound higher draw weight than I want, okay? And if you measure from the marks I have here, see, at the fade out, this is 5 1/4. And this is 5 3/4 the bottom limb. Okay, at the midpoint, it's 4 1/2. At the midpoint, it's 4 1/8. So this limb that we're calling the top limb, okay, which now that we have the string on, let's look. Yeah, it kind of favors this side, so that will be the top limb. Okay, that top limb needs to bend a lot more before we recheck the tiller. So we got to get this to curve a lot more. So it's going to be back and forth to get this to bend another 1/4 inch. And once again, you got to take your time. Don't say, oh, it's a lot, so I can go fast. No, you got to do a few strokes at a time, and then I'll get back to you when I get it just about even. Okay, you got to exercise it And then we're going to check the measurements again. Okay, we have a brace height that's roughly 4 3/4, and we're going to flex it, see what kind of pounds we get. I took a little material off that one limb in the center and then spread it out to the whole limb, and I got it even. Exercise it a little bit. Got 40, at 20 inches we have 44 pounds. Okay, I really like this like around 47, so 20 inches is actually 22-inch draw length. So the weight's going to have to come down a little. We're going to check and see how it's flexing. Let's put a straight edge on it quick. Okay, have the fade out mark again. Okay, and it looks like it's bending pretty good. A little bit more here than here. Okay, a little bit. Let's check out the other one. Okay, a little bit more than here, but it's looking good. It's looking pretty good. All right, this one's looking a little better than that one, I think. Let me recheck the other one. Actually, they're both not bad. I think I'm going to take a couple of strokes off each limb because we got a ways to go. We got a ways to go. I got a 26.5-inch draw. I want to go down to 27. I always go down a little more, give it a little extra leeway. Okay, I used the chainsaw file, put a little groove in there. Okay, just for the string to lay in. I even things out. It's pretty even now. And as I'm pulling, the limb I said was the top limb. Okay, when I pull back, I flip it around. The bottom limb is the top. That's the limb that's going to be the top. The bottom is the new top. Just the way it pulls back. Okay, so we're going to check the pound. Now that we know the bottom limb's the new top and we got everything evened out, let's see what we got in here. Okay, we've got 48 at 26. I'm going to drizzle out through the umbrella over the belt sander, but I worked on the tabletop here with a hacksaw, and I don't know if, let's see if you can see the X. Okay, you draw a line on the bottom where you're going to have your shelf, and then you cut in with the hacksaw an X. And then what you do is when you trim it down with a chisel, okay, or a saw, depending on what you're skilled at, the safest is a chisel with the blade, instead of digging down, the blade up, okay, and you would chisel it down. But we're going to try and make a little radius shelf. Okay, I shaped it up, cut it out, sanded it. Okay, we have a crowned shelf and a little radius sight window. All right, just needs a little more fine sanding. Got the grip, it feels pretty good. I didn't take down any weight. It's about 48. I forget what it is on that, maybe 48. Each one of these scales are a little different, a couple pounds off. I believe this one's a pound or two heavier than the one I pull back with my hand. And what we'll do is I'm just going to shoot it out. Going to leave it at 48 at 27. I got a 26.5-inch draw, and when I shaped it, my hand goes in here a little more, which will reduce the weight a little bit because I'm drawing less because my hand goes in there. Starting to drizzle again. Okay, I'm gonna put away everything, sand it. If it stops this evening and I get a chance to go out, I'll shoot it and show you how it shoots. If not, we're gonna shoot it tomorrow. Well, the rain stopped and the sun came out enough. Take a good look at my recurve. I shaped it, okay? It's got a crown shelved radius riser, okay? Tilled it, it's 47 pounds at my draw length with this little pull scale, all right? So once again, for hunting, 1 or 2 shots, I'm good, but I gotta get used to it. I gotta build myself up to it. I had a tear on my rotator cuff a while back, and I guess it's still there, but they say it could heal on its own. And I noticed I've been doing more, I'm pulling back a lot. So here we are at 25 yards. I have no idea why I'm starting at 25 yards, but I kind of have an idea where these shoot. And that deer target with the bag from this spot is 25 yards. And I'm gonna kind of put the point behind the front shoulder on top of the back and see where it goes. Wow, not bad. Crazy good, okay? This is the first time I shot it. I'm always a little nervous that a string's gonna pop off or whatever. I put it on top of the back. Let's walk down to about 20. Like I say, that first shot with these bows, you're a little nervous. Okay, so here we are at 20. Heard a little tip rattle, point's loose. I'm gonna try point on at 20, see what happens, okay? And try and be a shooting machine. Wow. All right, I think that's pretty good from where I could see. Let's go down to 15. I guess I can hunt with this 47-pound bow at my draw length with these arrows. Just got to build myself up to it. But I used to tell the kids, like I mentioned this too before in my other videos, when I used to teach the little kids, and they'd pull back, and to keep them from like dropping their arm or just having a good follow through, I tell them, be strong, put on a mean face for the 2 seconds. I kind of got to do that with this, you know. I'm not used to a 47-pound bow shooting it. And now what I'm going to do with this is either touch the belly or the lower third. So I'm going to go just a hair higher than the belly of that deer, and we'll see what happens. Okay, it was good. I felt my hand torque a little on it. I was holding a little too long, okay? So now, let me just take another shot here at 15. I'm going to try and shoot that little groundhog, okay? Little groundhog on the left, just for the heck of it. See if I can be strong enough to do that. Got him. I got him. I'm pretty happy with this bow. All right, and just for a close shot here, my little technique of looking down the arrow, we're going to try on that deer target right there, that closest one by the bear. Okay, let's just look down the arrow and see how that goes. Dead deer. All right, got to check this out with me. You saw, first time shooting this recurve that I made. I love it. Okay, sometimes you get lucky in life. This time I'm lucky. Let's go check it out. Okay, this is how I look down the arrow. I got it right there looking down the arrow. Okay, this is 20 25 is a little to the right because I was worried that the boat was going to blow up, and then I corrected it, okay? 20 and 15. And look at the little groundhog. You see that little sucker? I got him. So, okay, follow my videos, all right? Trial and error. I'm new at this. Once again, I've been doing this only since December, okay? I don't claim to be an expert. I put everything that happens, good and bad, so you can learn with me. Okay, the sun's kind of blinding me now. But every day that you wake up is a good day. Make the best of it. Get out and shoot. Okay, watch my other videos on Bareboat Joe. I'm not going to finish this. I'm just going to shoot it a couple of days. And I'm really loving shooting this, okay? Really lucked out. This is my new hunting bow. As long as everything goes well, it's my hunting bow. Oh, my hunting recurve at 64 inches. Okay, beautiful. All right, thanks for watching.